it's over for you guys, but I mean, if there's going to be one next year and the year after that,
Suggestions,
yeah,
comments.
like where do you think this is going, or is it just going downhill? Like it seems like it's going to hell or something.
Yeah, I felt like that at
you
times.
guys are aware that it used to be a really great sport.
Even 2 years ago,
That's
I
what
think.
we heard. That's what we
Yeah,
heard.
my sister had an amazing time.
Well, I guess what was the difference? Like, why is it? Because everyone's very ambivalent now, if not negative
No,
about it.
because from what I heard from ex-loveboaters was that counselors weren't that strict.
Yeah.
And it was actually meant to have fun.
Yeah.
I feel like
And like you learn, if you're not happy, you don't want to learn.
Yeah.
You don't want to follow
Exactly.
the rules.
You don't want to follow the rule. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
I feel like the basic problem with the counselors and the students is like it's a dynamic between them. They have like a police kind of relationship rather than a mentorship, which is what I feel like.
Or just friends.
Yeah, friends
Yeah,
or
friends.
mentors, at least mentors, and it just makes people not want to comply, even if it's for our safety. Certain things like we just feel like we want to rebel because they're out to get us instead of they're here to protect us and watch over us. We don't feel that way when we're there. Until maybe the last night, I felt like it was okay, and I found myself wishing that it had been this way the whole time because I felt like Loveboat would have been amazing if they would have been our friends instead of. Just,
I think it's a whole attitude. This new director, I don't know her that well, but each time I look at her, I don't think I've ever seen her smile.
that's what everybody says.
And
Never
it's
seen her
just like
smile.
I've
if
seen
you
her
have
once or
that
twice.
kind of attitude on top and you bring that down to the counselors, that's the attitude you're gonna get from us also. If you
Yeah.
give us attitude, we'll give you back attitude. If you try to help us or cooperate with us or teach us, you can. I mean, yeah, you have to keep order, but like the let certain things go. Like we'll probably enjoy classes more and go to classes and stuff.
Well, yeah, there was definitely a whole sort of us against them kind of mentality. And,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like what you guys were saying, like, there's like that saying, like, a hungry child can't learn. And like, I mean, the food was terrible, but not just that, it was like sort of metaphorically, a metaphorical hunger where, it was just like for the longest time we were more concerned with like, I mean, I think the problem is definitely partly like whatever the director and that sort of attitude, but I wonder how much of it though is just the ABCs in general. Like I made some friends who were outside of this program, like a few like locals and some people who are like just sort of like expats who live out here, and they were saying like they had a very negative perception about ABCs.
Oh yeah, I asked my friend if locals or native Taiwanese people really look down upon us, and they say they do.
They do,
Yeah.
but
It depends what kind of ABC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's an ambivalence that they like there's like a power and like kind of hero kind of thing, but then it's also like a lot of ABCs are extremely disrespectful.
Yeah, they're very
really
vulgar.
rude.
Very
And I thought like that was especially in the beginning, like
Yeah,
there's
some of our campers were very
so
disrespectful.
yeah.
And I really didn't like that.
Yeah, and
I don't want to point anybody out. I'm
No,
just
you-
saying,
no, yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
Well, it's just like at some of the like when they did that slideshow, they it was really boring and it was terrible. I mean, but at the same time, it's like
oh yeah, the
it was like
Palace
2 hours
Museum.
long. You don't do a slideshow that's 2 hours long.
Exactly, that
That's
was
the first.
Yeah.
And you don't tell people it's going to be 2 hours
Yeah.
long. But like 30 minutes into it,
More than half
50
the people,
50% of the campers have left the building, like left the room, and so there's just like enormous amount of empty seats, and like the other like 40% is like turned around or like turned around talking to other people like loudly, and like like there's one of the other campers from Camp 3 had to get up there and like say like lecture us to,
Yeah,
like, about like
Someone had to say it. And
yeah,
I'm glad
and
he
it
did.
still didn't really do much. But like, it was just like I was so embarrassed to be a part of that. It's just like just go to sleep. Just like like do you act like this at home? And the thing is, I don't think people do act like this at home. And so why are they acting so like shitty here? I mean I think that's the most disrespectful thing. It's like, and it's just sad because the like sort of like Taiwan loves you, and so they're afraid to tell you to shut the fuck up. And I'm like,
I think it's
they
the
should.
fact that the counselors, because they speak broken English,
Yeah,
they're very intimidated by ABCs.
yeah. They shouldn't be. They should just
shouldn't
say
be.
like whoever
Yeah.
like, and I mean,
Like-
and that's like a thing that I think I've heard a lot of Taiwanese people saying is sort of an issue is like standing up for yourself. Like, it's like like embracing your own culture, like doing your own thing, like integrating things, but not just like being a follower. Like the music scene here is just it's so like terrible. It's just imitative.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I don't know, like you guys might like the pop scene, but like for a lot of the other
Taiwanese
ones,
people, like they're just not independent.
yeah, they're just trying.
They
They're
don't
like,
stand-
this
they
is
don't
cool.
stand up for
I want to be
themselves.
like this. Like
Yeah.
I want to be like Tokyo. I want to be like
Yeah.
New York. But you know, like be yourself first, and then just like that's a little frustrating to me because I feel like I feel that part of myself, and I see it, and it's like a mirror, and it's not a fun thing to watch.
The
to see it.
one thing I wonder about Taiwanese people and just the culture in general is I wonder, like, in the sense that they're different from the U.S., I think maybe they're not as idealistic in the sense that they don't think, I want to be this way, this is the kind of life I want, and I'm going to go get it. It's more like, this is what works, this is what I can do, and so I'm going to go along with it. And it's more of a practical thing than an idealism thing. And I haven't been here long enough to know if that's really the truth. But, for example, even my family, they've never once actually flew over to the States and visited me, and they don't study abroad and things like that. And I wonder, since in the U.S. it's kind of expected, or it's very popular in college to go abroad for a while, or at least to travel a lot, as much as you can. It strikes me as strange that people here don't travel as
No,
much.
it's because it's a different system. Because here, like preschool, middle school, high school, it's very, very hard work.
Yeah.
Like a lot harder than us. But once you're done with high school, university, it's like once you're in, you're out. That's it. It's so easy to pass it, and there's no ambition in university. Nobody really really cares. So like, I think after you graduate from university, you just find a job and you get a crappy salary, and it's not motivating.
It's just a
anymore.
path,
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
opposed
exactly.
to like something else, I guess.
And I think that's why my parents had a lot of trouble dealing with me as I was growing up. About, like, for example, I was like, I want to go to law school, and I had been a music major in college, and they're like, how can you make that kind of switch? And they just didn't really think it was, well, they wanted me to do whatever I was good at or
Parents
happened to
would
be
be
good
so
at.
happy if I made that switch.
Well, they were
They
just
still
like,
ask me about that.
they didn't. First of all, they didn't believe in me. That's a different story. But they were mostly like, but you're good at music and stuff. You can teach. You can do all this. But I'm like, well, what do I want to do? That's the most important. And so they're more on the path of like what works and stay on this track. It's so much easier. Like they were against me taking time off school after college. Because they're like, oh, it's easier if you just stay on this track.
Usually it's the standard. If you're a doctor, you gotta be a
Doctor,
lawyer.
lawyer, engineer.
Doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those three standard jobs.
They're so
They're
like
the
safe.
Asian list.
They're so like safe. There's a path. There's a you do this for so and so years. You do this for so and so years. 4 years for this.
Yeah,
and
it's so
1 year
much easier.
internship. Then 2 years associate.
But that's ABCs. That's ABCs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pure ABC. Like kind of not the people here.
No.
Because mind you, most people who can immigrate are generally richer.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
they're the ones
Richer
who are like
family.
ambitious and like seeking to sort of like say like I want a bigger fishbowl.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, like
Keep using
my
that.
family, like I don't feel like they're as ambitious. And then my friend told me, she's like, yeah, but studying abroad here, it's kind of not even an option really. It's because her cousin has studied abroad, but her mom had paid for it, and so it's either they don't have the same kind of lifestyle or ambition. They're not encouraged the same way.
I mean, that's a very American thing to like sort of like to the idea that you can sort of achieve things if you like there's no limit. The sky's the
Yeah,
limit.
exactly. That's why I always felt I'm so American. And I wondered, am I even Asian at all? Are my values at all Asian? I
That's
don't
why
know.
most of the richer families here, most of their kids, they will either send them abroad or they just send them to Taipei American School.
Yeah,
No.
my friend's students at Princeton Review, they're all very privileged kids who go to boarding school in the States.
Because the parents know they don't want their kids to grow up in this education system. It's a good education system to begin with, but once you hit university, it crumbles down. It just changes your whole personality, and I think in general it affects the whole of Taiwan. It just brings the society in a negative aspect.
Okay, so what about the future of the program?
Oh wait, it's all about the program, right?
Oh, yeah, it's about the program.
I was just thinking, we're a little off
Oh, well,
topic.
about
we
the
keep
program-
talking about
about the
Taiwan.
program.
I know.
Okay, what about the future?
Or can we go back to the program? We don't really talk about it.
Yeah, I said the future.
Well, I guess the
The
whole
program itself.
I thought-
future
yeah,
of
but
the
you
Well, I
wanna
thought the
be-
program itself is to kind of inspire these questions in people, you know, to help them reconcile their different cultural identities, I guess. I don't know. Before I came here, I thought the program, I was apprehensive because I thought, oh, it's going to be one of those cheesy, I love Taiwan, Taiwan loves you things, and we would sing songs.
was,
and,
though.
yeah, it was, and so I was well aware that that would be the case. And so I thought it was kind of a cheesy glorification of Taiwan. But then the larger point of that had to have been, like, you know, to understand your culture and to ask these kinds of questions, like, what does it mean to be Taiwanese, American? What does it mean to be an ABC? And, you know, what's the point of all that? And,
American book.